Today we're going to be talking about how to graph linear equations in two variables on the coordinate plane. Recall that earlier we went over that a linear equation in one variable was something like 4x plus 1 is equal to 7. Well, if it's got two variables, there will actually be two variables involved, typically both an x and y. The easiest way to actually think about linear equations is to think about it as a set of coordinates, aka ordered pairs. But before we start diving too deep into the linear equations itself, let's go ahead and get us situated with how the coordinate plane works and how ordered pairs work. In particular, if you have some sort of coordinate like 3, 2, the first part of the coordinate is telling you where to move xy, so where to move on the x-axis, and the second part of the coordinate is telling you where to move on the y-axis, so up and down. On any coordinate plane, it's always labeled as x-axis going left and right, y-axis going up and down, and the point 3, 2 in particular would say go right 3, positive direction on the x-axis, up 2, positive direction on the y-axis, to get you the point 3, 2. Now, as noted here in this practice, these count kind of in the way that hopefully you would expect from your knowledge of number lines. The x-axis going left and right, so this is the x-axis here, is such that we've got negative numbers to the left, positive numbers to the right, just like we normally have on a number line. For the y-axis, that's going straight up and down, and positive numbers are up and negative numbers are down. We basically took that horizontal number line and rotated it 90 degrees in order to make that y-axis. We always list points as x, y. It goes the exact same order as A, the alphabet, so x comes before y in the alphabet, it comes before y in terms of coordinate planes, and B, you can kind of think about sort of the practicality that if you had to get to a point that's up, and let's say you were climbing a tree in order to get to that point that's up, from where you are at the origin, you would have to walk over, so your x movement, and then climb up the tree, so your y movement. So that's always kind of the visual that I have in my head. We always count coordinates starting from the center, which is known as the origin, and then count over to where it is that we moved. So in particular, let's deal with this first coordinate here. So this coordinate here, we went left 1 and up 1. So its coordinate would be -1 for the -1 on the x-axis, 1 for that positive 1 on the y-axis. The point down here, that would be, we went left and right nothing. We kind of stayed at the origin and then went down 3. So that would be 0, -3 for that final coordinate. Let's go ahead and practice plotting points. So go ahead and pause your video and go ahead and try to plot these 4 points. If we're going to go ahead and plot these points, 0, 3 means we move left and right nothing and then move up 3 to the point 0, 3. The point -4, 0 means we move left 4 and then up and down nothing for the point -4, 0. The point -2, -5 means we move left 2, down 5 for the point -2, -5. The point 3, 4 means we move right 3, up 4 for the point +3, +4. Let's talk a little bit further about the different parts of the coordinate plane here. So as we mentioned, the x-axis goes left and right, where we've got negative numbers to the left, positive numbers to the right. The y-axis is a number line that goes straight up and down, where we have positive numbers up, negative numbers down. The center is known as the origin, that has the coordinate 0, 0. It is the one thing that is both simultaneously on the y-axis and the x-axis at the same time. And then the quadrants of the coordinate plane start here in quadrant 1. That is where both your x-coordinate and y-coordinate is positive. By convention, we use Roman numerals to talk about the quadrants of the coordinate plane. And then we count in a counterclockwise fashion. So the next quadrant over here is quadrant 2, where your x-coordinate is negative and your y-coordinate is positive. Then we have quadrant 3, where both your x and y coordinates are negative. And then you have quadrant 4, where your x coordinate is positive and your y coordinate is negative. So go ahead and pause your video and see if you can identify these coordinates and their location. So this first coordinate A has gone 4 to the right and then 2 up and down, and he is in quadrant 1. The next coordinate B is here at the center, so it's at the coordinate 0, 0. I've removed left and right nothing and up and down nothing, and it is known as the origin. For the next one, coordinate C, for that we went right 2 and down 3, so it's 2, negative 3. And it is in quadrant 4 because recall we count counterclockwise when labeling our different quadrants. We go quadrant 1, then quadrant 2, then quadrant 3, then quadrant 4. Coordinate D is down here in quadrant 3, and it has the coordinates negative 2, negative 4 because we went left 2, down 4. Coordinate E is up here on the y-axis, and it has the point 0, 3 because we went left and right nothing, but we went up 3. Coordinate F, that has the coordinates negative 3, 2 because we went left 3, up 2, and it is in the second quadrant. And then last but not least, but G is at negative 1, 0 because we went left 1 and up and down nothing. And it is on the x-axis. If you're exactly on an axis, you're not considered in a quadrant, although you could talk about it being in between two quadrants. So for example, point E is in between quadrants 1 and 2, point G is in between quadrants 2 and 3.